into knowing that we're not going to be run over. We'll be starting in just a few minutes. Yeah.
Maybe you want to put them on the in front of the shrine. Yeah. And the one with the yeah, that's right. Okay. Would it be all right for you to take the pictures of you laying? Are you laying? You know, very number? She's like, I think she's maybe online. Oh, I know. On her, she's a friend of mine. Yeah. Really? Oh, perfect. Well, I'll get your email in as well, so I can get your newsletter. I am on the newsletter. Oh. I can one at a time. Yeah, okay, we'll lay it out there. Okay. We can do that. Sorry.
Oh, John and Katie are there. It's exciting.
That's for you.
Oh.
Spirit of the living, kindred, welcome. Welcome everybody to Crossbones Graveyard to this very special vigil tonight. The Magdalene Isis Vigil, and also the culmination of the Goose prophecy. I will leave John Crow to tell you about that. We come here together every single month for the last 19 years. Every single month. Even during lockdown, 3 or 4 brave souls came and hung ribbons and scattered the gin and made their offerings to honour the outcast dead and alive, which is the work of India. As I've said to lots of people already, this is not a religious service. This is what has been known as an act of sacred profanity. We are fully rounded personalities, and we bring all of ourselves, our broken hearts, our broken wings, our deep joys, our losses. We just bring it all here. And then, on a very loose string of 4 or 5 simple rituals, related. Every month is different. every month we tell people a little of the history of this place. And I would like to introduce John Constable Crowe to do that work today for us. Ladies and gentlemen, please remember we're not in a religious service. We can applaud and do feel free to come in so the ones at the front aren't having to shout and all just to meet Maria's at the back. Ladies and gentlemen, John Constable.
Well, I'm on an extended birthday. I was born on Mary Magdalene's feast day, which is 22nd of July. But traditionally, the 23rd is our Isis Magdalene festival here at Crossbones. And the 23rd is, of course, a very significant number in our work at Crossbones. It's the number of radical change, particularly the change of a pattern in how we perceive the world. And in a way, the work at Crossbones is all about changing the way we pattern the world to open up something else more interesting, we hope. Very briefly, I'm going to tell you about the history, which is we know that this was a pauper's graveyard. This is historical fact, and that it was used from at least the middle of the 17th century through to the middle of the 19th century. It closed in 1853, described as being already overcharged with dead. And by then it was a pauper's graveyard for what was one of the poorest parts of London, a notorious part of London, called the Mint. It was an area where even policemen were afraid to go, and certainly never singly. So the area by then had a very bad reputation. It had a much more interesting, wicked reputation in medieval times, because this was the liberty of the Clink. It lay outside the law of the City of London. The law here was the feudal lord of the manor, the Bishop of Winchester, who had his London palace here, and of course was involved with the Church of St. Mary Overy, later St. Saviour's, and later still Southwark Cathedral. And within this area known as the Liberty, effectively the law of the city did not apply. This was literally outside the law of the City of London. And it meant that all the things that were forbidden in the city, for which they perhaps, the city fathers in their wisdom, enjoyed having close at hand, including, of course, taverns and bear pits, brutal sport at those times, also theatres. And remember, in those days, acting was considered a thoroughly disruptive profession. But this is where Shakespeare's theatre had its great flowering in what was effectively the Elizabethan red light district, and had been for roughly 500 years. The Liberty of the Clink. It was an area where the brothels were often properties owned by the church, and the women, and indeed perhaps the men who worked in the brothels, were actually licensed and regulated by the Bishop of Winchester. And so the women became known as the Winchester Geese. All this is part legend, part history. It's open to dispute. But it was the inspiration, really, for my own involvement with this graveyard. I'm a writer by profession, and I'd decided, or it had come to me, that I was going to write the Southwark Mysteries about this area of London where I've lived half my life. At that stage, I'd already lived here 10 years in 1996. So I began researching, and I became very fascinated by the Winchester Geese. But I didn't really know what form this work was to take. I was primarily a playwright, and that's what I thought I'd do. And I was taken aback on the night of the 23rd of November, 1996, when I had a vision of a spirit who identified herself as the goose and told me her secret history, speaking entirely in verse. It shocked me, because although I'm a writer, I'd never attempted verse since my dream. And the other thing was that the goose seemed to come with an extraordinary hinterland, a backstory. I hadn't worked in research, but it was as if she were a being who had lived perhaps more than one, many lives, carried the trait, and she'd encountered. I'd been experimenting that kind of shamanistic persona, John Crow, and it was as if the goose's business was with John Crow, and I've described it as them doing a dance. And the dance performs this poetry, this verse and song that I wrote down as best I could as John Constable. So that's the rough story of my involvement with Crossbones, except to say that in the middle of the night, the goose, having conjured up all these places in my mind, said we're going to walk it. And she walked us around this whole area in a huge sort of spiral, visiting the sites of Marshalsea Prison and St George the Martyr Church, Tabard Inn, where Chaucer and the Pilgrims set out for Canterbury, up on the river to the church of Mary Overy, now Southwark Cathedral, and Mary Overy Dock, and Clink Street at the Clink Prison, and then out onto Bankside, where the Globe and the Swan and the Rose, the great Elizabethan playhouses originally stood. And eventually, this loop had led us to the bottom of this street and then up this street to these gates. And it was here that the goose sang in me. So I began singing, John Crow began singing, but he was singing the goose's song. And it was a song that included the words, "For tonight in hell, they are tolling the bell for the whore that lay at the tabard. And well we know how the carrion crow does feast in our Crossbones graveyard." And it was within a month of writing those words, I discovered that Crossbones was a real place and that the bones had just been dug up. And from then on, things started kicking off. I met Lana, who had herself been very instrumental in a campaign to protect early attention. Suddenly, there was a sense of something happening. I began performing these works from Southern history, and it was a bit of a feeling of people coming out of the woodwork suddenly, as if we all knew our moment in time had come. The goose, in one of her books, the Book of the New South Bank, which is, I think, the fourth vision book, she says, "We jive, we gyre, with all we sold, crawled out of we hold, to be born at the end of time." And there was this sense that Crossbones acting as some sort of portal between the world of the living and the dead. And so all our work at Crossbones grew out of that, and my attempt to interpret the goose vision, which led us first to perform the Halloween at Crossbones for a magical cycle of 13 years. Every Halloween, we would perform the verses of the mystery at many venues around this area, ending in a procession to the gate, where we tied ribbons with the names of the dead and spoke the names aloud, both binding and loosing them, releasing these spirits. And out of this shrine grew. And by 2004, we realized it was beautiful at the end of October after Halloween, that looked pretty scuzzy by the following May or something, when it's been neglected. So we began in June 2004, on the 23rd of June, we held the first vigil. It was to reclaim, rededicate this land, this sacred land. And we have met, as Jennifer said, every single 23rd at 7 o'clock since 2004. We're into the 20th year now. And that's so powerful. Even during lockdown, there were 2 or 3 people here to say that the vigil was unbroken. And the power of that, and these very simple rituals that Jen has mentioned, that the goose really gave us, and that hold us. They hold the space, and they allow the unexpected to happen. And we can't promise you, but quite often it does happen at these vigils. Anything can happen. So there's a brief introduction to say that this is why we come. We come to renew the shrine, to remember the outcast, dead and alive. And as a result of our work over these, well, my work of 23 years, and the work continues, it's now at least in its 26th year, the work to reclaim this site as sacred land and a garden of remembrance for sex workers and outcasts, a place without judgment, a place where people of all faiths and none are welcome, all stories are welcome, all humans are welcome. In a world where we're so encouraged to divide ourselves against ourselves and find the things that divide us, we come to Crossbones to celebrate and share. Jen and Mark, you and who's here, are two of the principles who've really kept this going. I mean, there have been others too, but huge respect for what you've done to keep this work alive, the spirit of the beast alive. So again, if you'd like to take it to the next bridge.
It's also retired. He gave this group that he called the Magical Collective, the MC, that we collectively would lead the vigil. Lockdown happened very quickly after that, and the MC, to a great extent, went to the four corners. Mark went to university over the time. He's done that. He's back. I don't know what he's doing now, but here he is. I'm an old lady and I never went anywhere. So that was me. But yeah, the MC. So I am what I like to call the Madam of Ceremonies. Back MC. And I'd like to say during lockdown, another vigil started. This is the Zoom vigil by Jackie Lee, who is the rest of us coming through the lens of Natalie's camera here. Since we started back up after doing big vigils after lockdown, we slowly connected with each other. So if everybody wants to wave, and Natalie's going to give all of the Zoom vigilers a nice picture of everybody waving at them. Apart from the geese, we really are all together.
Halfway.
Okay, so the first ritual that we do here at the vigil is called lighting the open pathway. We hold up just for 1 minute the open pathways candle. And this candle, this little light, represents the light that each one of us has inside them. However we recognize that light within ourselves, it might be the light of our intelligence that we see, with our brains working all sparkling. It could be the fire of our passion. It could be this little heart of mine. However you see it, what we do, because here we are, look around in the city, here's the noise, here's the bump, but around all that, there's the silence of the sky. There's the flying of birds around. We don't lock ourselves away and ignore that. What we do is we open ourselves to almost invisible enough that all that noise can just go through. Just go past. Just what is happening. The noises of the city rises and falls. Silence is always there. In the beginning. So we start in silence. I am going to ding the bell. However you feel, to wish all the beings in all the world the liberty to achieve their most intimate aspirations. If you can't think of anything else, really enjoy. It's the act of binding and loosing, where we tie ourselves, fire our ribbon back to the gate. Everybody is always welcome to bring their own ribbon or their own gift. In fact, you will see that the gates are on the street. The gates, unlike Crossbones graveyard, which is only open all the time, 24 hours a day, the gates are here for everybody, 24/7. In fact, just talking about the gates, as with everything at Crossbones, as with things in life, personally, I think, but as a vigil, we allow ourselves to be particularly aware of it. These gates which separate up the outside from the inside, the living from the dead, also actually is quite simply a portal, because actually if you come close enough especially, you can see right through. On vigil night, we always do the vigil outside, because we make ourselves the outcast. We have some kind of relationship with what it means to be locked out. We allow the dead to be the ones on the in. They are already in eternity. We here are trapped in time. But because our awareness of the gates being also a portal, even if we're only aware of that during vigil time, although actually it's there all the time, somehow there's a dance. Somehow between this space where the gates become a portal of connection, that there's a dance between one world and another, between the living and the dead, between time and eternity. And the closer you get to the gate, the more you will experience that, because you will be nearer this that's coming out here. So when we hang ourselves on the gate, we tie a ribbon. What we do, the vigil, to offer everybody else is a ribbon. We bring 23. So we might have enough ribbons. If you haven't got a ribbon, as I astonishingly don't have a ribbon, here you have an opportunity to give yourself a virtue. Come and touch the gate. Imagine tying your own ribbon onto the gate. If you come again, feel free to bring your own ribbon. And we come and go, we give each other, especially our process, we're very aware of that. We're not ignoring anything of the world, really. We give each other the opportunity to come and tie and to have their little space and then step back. And we dance between ourselves. And we do this act to tie our ribbons to loose ourselves. This act of binding and loosing, this dance between hanging on and letting go. We just pick ourselves up to. And all those physical actions we do to the verses of, sorry, my mind is the echo prayer, which is not exactly a prayer. It's more like a description just of what we're doing. However beautiful it is, it's not prayer. Most of us know it. We repeat it 5 times to give everybody a chance to come and go. And it's the echo because if you hear a word that some of us are saying that you like, repeat it back. If you know the echo prayer, feel free to say it yourself. The sound will go on, and so the people of the vigil will also be joining in. And this is how the echo prayer goes. Here, lay your heart,
Your fingers, your thumbs, your miss you mums. Here hang your hopes, your dreams, your might have beens, your locks, your keys, your mysteries. Here lay your hearts, your flowers, your book of hours, your fingers, your thumbs, your miss you mums. Here hang your hopes, your dreams, your might have beens, your locks, your keys, your mysteries. Here lay your hearts, your flowers, your book of hours, your fingers, your thumbs, your miss you mums. Here hang your hopes, your dreams, your might have beens, your locks, your keys, your mysteries. Here lay your hearts, your flowers, your book of hours, your fingers, your thumbs, your miss you mums. Here hang your hopes, your dreams, your might have beens, your locks, your keys, your mysteries. Here lay your hearts, your flowers, your book of hours, your fingers, your thumbs, your miss you mums. Here hang your hopes, your dreams, your might have beens, your locks, your keys, your mysteries.
Your might have beens, your locks, your keys,
your mysteries.
This is to really show you, you're really standing specifically, we're really alive. Please feel free to stand within these double yellow lines instead to allow the path to get out. And we will just breathe happily. Okay. Additionally, if you're standing behind within the line of the three, and weren't they patient? Yay. Our next part of the vigil is called the Sacred Offering. Now, I happen to know that John Constable is going to be doing, which is a 15-minute offering. So I will not be offering anything tonight, but the floor is open for anybody who would like to step forward. But if you tell me, if you say Mark, is there anybody? Ken has started to bring a little tiny speaker, not for us, because we always use only the human voice here, and we tend not to use mechanical instruments, but because we're trying to connect with the Zoom vigil, if there are any Zoomers who want to donate their sacred offering, we plug in and then we can all hear them as well. So, Jackie, anybody?
Is there anyone who wants to share from here? I could share a poem, Jennifer.
If you decide that you might want to do it, then we've got another one over here now. Excellent. John, are you going to do your offering lecture? I don't know. I was going to do a bit at the beginning, a bit again. Yeah. So, how we've been working the vigil since you retired from leading, in order to feed ourselves with goose words, we always envelop the offering with goose words. So if you do half and half, and then have it come to me. That's all we do.
half an hour.
Oh, this is alive on that side.
That's cool, yeah, thank you. So, thank you. So, the Book of the Goose was revealed by the Goose John Crow on the night of the 23rd of November 1996. And it was as if the spirit of the goose had risen up and then led me in mind, and then in body, led John Crow through the streets to the gates of Crossbones. And we're going to do the whole Book of the Goose is roughly 15 to 20 minutes. And as Jen just said, we're going to do it in two halves. And Jacqueline Hay, who played actually, well, she played Satan in the original production of Southwark Vigil, in Southwark Cathedral. But she's not doing that here. She's going to sing the song of the goose with me. And then I'm going to persist with it. And, well, we will see what we will see. But I will say, Jen referred earlier to the specialness of this day, because at the end of this poem, which you'll hear after the whole offering, in the second half, at the end of the poem, the goose declares that in the month July, and the day shall be 23, in the year of Our Lady Mary Overy, Southwark shall arise naked in her liberty. It's a vision of the Mistress Southwark rising goddess-like from Crossbones. Very recently, Ben Edge, the folklorist and painter, visited me and interviewed me and asked to see my original notebooks, because the Goose's transmission, in many ways, came complete. Much of it was exactly in the form, the verse, the rhythm that she gave it me, but there were some lines that as a writer I shaped and polished. And I only discovered when I looked at my notebooks with Ben, more than 25 years after they were written, that the original line says that in the month July, and the day shall be 23, in the year of our Lord 2023, Southwark shall arise naked in her liberty. So it is now. There is nothing but now. We're all naked in mind. If you really want to get, I'm not going to get naked in body. Don't feel you have to. But yeah, there is. So that this is now. This is the moment. I said earlier on today when I referred to this that perhaps the goose is prophesying the apocalypse. But then the goose always said to John Crow, the apocalypse has already happened here. We just haven't noticed it. And I really think that is quite profound to understand, because apocalypse means unveiling. It means the revelation of the meaning of life. And that revelation is happening in every moment. It's happening now. It's within the now that we find eternity, not by trying to add up all the years or trying to live for hundreds of years. So this is, I believe, the message of the goose tonight. And so now, with the help of Jacqueline, we're going to perform the first part of the Book of the Goose as received on the 23rd of November, 1996, the Book of the Goose.
I was born a goose at Southwark
By the grace of Mary Overy, whose bishop gives me license to sin within the liberty. In Bankside Susan's tavern, you can hear me hold right faintly, as I unlock the hidden door, unveil the secret history. I will dunk you in the river, and then reveal my mystery. And when my lords in Westminster denounce my impious blasphemy, my God in the face of all God-fearing servants of His Majesty, what though they throw me in the clink of King's Bench or Marshalsea, and leave me there to rot, they think, for brazen acts of harlotry? I call upon my bishop as defender of my liberty. When almighty city fathers, those dread guardians of morality, to ban all gaming, drunkenness, and acts of gross effrontery, what though they thunder over there, it matters not a fig to me. Over is the ward without, the law of London city, where whores are subject only to fair Southwark and her liberty. Oh, over there, you'd swear they were the image of propriety. But run over here, dear. It's all rape and pillage and bondage and buggerage with molly boys. What jolly boys and goose girls underage. Taking liberties and license, dear. We all have to deal with them. We pump them and paddle them, and into bed we squeal with them. Let's all go bait the bear. What mad cat tomfoolery! If it wasn't in the service of such a pox-ridden majesty. And when I hear those hypocrites denying and decrying me, who make of me the vessel of all known vice and depravity, the way they talk, I swear, you'd think I was the whore of Babylon, as they make of me an altar they see fit to rape my children on, and a minister of morals. Oh, dear me. Oh, what a carry-on. Over there it's all the family, and go on, and marry on. But when they're over here, dear, then every Dick and Harry on the front bench has some wench or rough trade from borough laid. And every mag witch in Shoreditch has been poor St. Mary over it. And did they think my ghost would not start kicking against the poxy pricks what had done all the pricking? How could they ever think they could sanitize me, dress up my clink to decriminalize me, turn me into their heritage theme park? Over here, dear. Want to take a walk down the dark alleyways and doorways, down the blood funny streaming, then it's whoops, Jack Shepherd and his silver blade gleaming, and it's one more body ditched in Thames water, dreaming. Yes, I've been here before, dear, oft times in chastened circumstance. I lay with Master Geoffrey at the tabard, making dalliance afore wending on his pilgrimage to tell a tale of Canterbury. And I rode out beside him as the child of Mary Overy went riding for a vision of humanity, man, God, and beast communing for one moment in eternity, and the healing of the sick, and the questioning divinity who asked herself, what am I? To permit such wanton misery and compassion for all souls that dwell in shadows of mortality, compelling her to take on very flesh of that infirmity until she's born a crafty whore, stewed in a Southwark hostelry, and using all her wherewithal to take a pilgrim's fancy and lay with him and play with him and open eyes to see the goddess that on judgment day shall stand by man and make his plea. As I was in that miller's wife, who pushed her tush at Absalom, who kissed thee many a wench's lip, but nary such a hairy one. You don't know me yet, dear. You will, dear, I promise you. I am a tricksy tart, dear. My aim is to astonish you. John Crow with a riddle in a madcap rhyme, here to reveal my mystery. In London town at the end of time, Johnny go down on history. John Crow in Cathedral Yard, cursed with my gift of prophecy, here to play one last wild card for Southwark and her liberty. Oh, with a hey, ho, a Johnny Jack Crow, and he's very, very bad about those bones. Never stumble when he strips a cloud of blue. And some go, oh ho, who be this John Crow? This nobody ruthless shaman, oh, kicking loose heels as the rank weeds grow, wild in our Southwark haven. And then the crow on the gargoyle, ah, 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 and he draws on a map of infinity, where God rejoices more in the brazen whore than in the wife in her pinch-faced chastity. With a knick-knack, paddy-whack, give the dog a Bible black, John Crow whores are hollering. In the sack on your back, give the skull a good crack, see if it's a hollow one. Click, clack, click, clack, don't look back to see if deaths are following. For tonight in hell they are tolling the bell for the whore that lay at the cupboard. And well we know how the carrion crow does feast in our Crossbones graveyard. With a hey, oh, a jolly Jack Crow and his merry, merry band of outlaws of never stumble when he tricks my crown on the pocket, 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 hey, oh, a jolly Jack Crow and his merry, merry band of outlaws of never stumble when he tricks my crown on the pocket, 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 hey, oh, jolly Jack Crow and his merry, merry band of outlaws. Oh. Woo!
Marvelous. Harry, would you like to come and share whatever you've got to give us?
Another verse.
Another verse.
Hoping no one will do. Here, 2,000 years. Mouth stopped with a stone. The body of a well, Mary Overy. 2,000 years of empire. 2,000 years of X-ray. Flesh did not defile the daughter of eternity. Here, Magdala in Overy reveals Medusa's purity. Thames mudlark, Charles, Paul, liberty. Here Jesus walks, Sea of Galilee. Laughter echoes, the garden of Gethsemane. And maybe you'd like to think, I might prophesy the discovery of a Roman temple just north of here. Only in the last couple of months. It's true though, isn't it? You could not make it up.
You couldn't make it up. Shall I tell them?
If you like.
Okay. On the north side of the development, over there, where all the buildings are going to be, which is unlike on Crossbones, which nobody currently can touch, is going to be a big development. But unlike the early 90s, when the landlord would only give the Museum of London 2 weeks to dig here, because they were make money, over there, times have changed. And it's 2023. And when they started doing that first official dig, and they started finding things, and then they had to extend dig, and they went deeper and they found more. They have found an unbroken first century, highly decorative mosaic. They've found a second century even bigger, unbroken mosaic. They are so clever, these people. They know who made what company, what Roman company, who actually created the mosaic. The landlords have allowed them to dig so far that they have got down to bed. They have found Neolithic, they have found Anglo-Saxon and everything all the way back to the Roman time. The buildings that these mosaics would have come from were big places as well. This is one of the things I love about Crossbones. You usually get history written by the community, by the women. And so on that side, you've got massive amounts of money. The mausoleum that they found, a first century Roman mausoleum, housing around it later centuries bodies. There was a graveyard on that side. This is the story of the ones who won. Crossbones tells the story of London from the point of view of the people who lost, from the bottom up. I think that is so moving. but within the same area, owned by the same landlord, to get that extreme experience. Would anybody on the Zoom like to offer something?
I would like to offer something. Could I offer something? Shall I type something? Hang on a minute. Hang on, I'll type
How
something.
does it work, Pen? Magic. Don't sound it. I'm connected.
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jackie.
hello.
Hey, Jackie. Hey, Jackie. Jackie's the leader of the Vigil.
Just read a sonnet. A sonnet for Mary Magdalene by Malcolm Geet, as it was her feast day yesterday. Can you hear me all right? Yeah? Men called you light so as to load you down and burden you with their own weight of sin. A woman forced to cover and contain those 7 devils sent by every man. But one man set you free and took your part. One man knew and loved you to the core. The broken alabaster of your heart revealed to him alone a hidden door into a garden where the fountain sealed could flow at last for him in healing tears, till in another garden he revealed the perfect love that cast out all your fears and quickened you with love's own sway and swing, as light and lovely as the news you bring. Thank you.
Enjoyed the blessings and the bards today. Other cathedrals best over here with their congregation once a year, every year for the last 8 years, to perform an act of regret, remembrance and restoration. Not, it seems to me, restoration to restore the women to good grace, but to restore the church into the people of America into their good grace. This is one of the poems that is traditionally read. It's so beautiful. Thank you, Jack. Mark, would you like to offer?
We do have an offering, but it's a offering today.
Oh, make a decision, though.
I think I'd like to offer again.
Well, then go and do it.
Yeah.
Is that the mysterious Herbie thing?
Yeah.
Oh, marvellous.
Already
Ladies and gentlemen, Mark.
Yeah, there's a huge stone. Without wanting to mansplain, but I'd like to talk about it afterwards. My understanding of Silvium might be difficult. All right. So Silvium was a plant that was discovered on Greek coinage and reported as having a curious feature of being both an aphrodisiac and a birth control at the same time. It was basically foraged to extinction during Roman time. Perhaps overused in the brothels of Rome, many historians speculate. The large Silvium plant that given to the Emperor Nero became worth its weight in gold eventually, because it couldn't be cultivated. It was a unique specimen, perhaps what they call a hybrid plant, and it required the chemistry of the kingdom of Cyrene, which is why Cyrene became one of the richest kingdoms in Africa during Roman time. But it was used for loads of things. It was an aphrodisiac, which was poetic in itself, but it was used as a delicacy as well, as a food, as a spice, and as a cure, to heal as wounds as well. So me is incredibly worthy to be kind of channeled. Although I couldn't find a specimen myself, I decided to write an ode to this plant that was used for feeding brothels all over the Roman Empire, North Africa. You know, with the black market, some with other things, we know the story. So presence is a lot, not just about the drug culture and the war thereon, but also the kind of tendency for humans to use aspects of nature to the point where it becomes extinct. So it's a kind of forerunner in that way as well. And yeah, this was dedicated to the outcast. Thank you so much, everyone, today for listening and being so present. There's a plant Romans shan't ever re-seen or we re-see. They loved it to extinction is and its main use was very loose. To change the rhythm just to be with them, we set the stage for each foul age in which the humans in all its forum and so risk all for pleasures. Silphium, oh Silphium, you heart-shaped, money-stamped, living lamb, flesh tendering, birth controlling aphrodisiac. You slanderously perfuming, pulse preserving, impulse serving, fresh root vinegar dipped delicacy. You dog bite, healing, anus calming, I'm way less, starving, Libyan miracle. You're worth your weight in gold, too late, outsold the siren richest bidder, unbidden, you're a fussy plant for pussy cunts, cocks and dicks, rot tit, but tit, what, wit, stinking great, extinction early, inkling late, what tincture rarely does all your pinch, oh, growing poem. Your last left was emperor's right first, presaged, postage, foraged, ravaged, love aged, rummaged from poorhouse to kitchen to butcher to ouch, from copper to coffee to lover to over, from ecology to economy, from rules to black market, unfarmable, fun farmacon. Big farmer, no farmer, but either your seeds were North African chemistry, not the unspoiled soils of our unyielding fields, or rather, plants merged uniquely for one generation obliquely in one location, unsweetably. Dear Panacea, we play with your fire. Has all been heard and burned, or haven't we learned from the one-off pinpricks of history, unlivable mysteries, patterned again and fattened by pen? For though your seeds do not bear you, and you're long, long gone, you're here all along. With you we all belong. To you, our want is one. Haven't got much.
So we've been told about you.
I'm not even active on my you like sad stories, sad tears. As you know, I carry with a whiskey for my 60th birthday. I bought a whiskey and I wanted the whiskey, but there was one person who made their head. That was my friend. I was thinking about because he was the family life in the garden when my family was not all the after the picture, women had a dream and someone had complained that he was sitting over the so this means that they have a CCC and doctors woman said that would be a good name but they don't know we run through folks and we expect to see the spirit of mischief and laughter that I have been ever so that would be nothing like it. But would you like to hear a version of what I said? So at the beginning of this year, I got to drive some of my favorite. You see, in January, that's what I'm trying to do. You know when you get a sample of stuff, and you think, shall I say, shall I not? The night before, I just put it on the hospital. And I thought my reception. So I answered it, and we just in the phone. So, I've got like that. They're expecting the massive pay number of what they owe me, but this is they had been paying me even all the way through a pandemic. Yeah. So, and that's why I object to that. This pay there. Where was that? Anyway, I confess, as I said, I put the other side, I was confessed, and then I began to wonder how many other men and women were in the same state. Luckily, I had to consider why did I do this? Oh. Sorry, I had. You love it. Yes, it is. But what's special about that? It's 3 months. And I did a version of that. I did it with a lot. Especially
Have we got anybody else? Oh, Vicky, I completely forgot. Sorry.
Thank you. I did write down what I was saying. The figure made of clay. The things that you do. The things are days away. And when I'm in a certain mood, I search for all comfort. Throw it away, throw it away. Give your love, give your life, keep and every day. And keep your things going. With a gentle kind of love. And now when some clenched and open, it's what life is love is true. So keep your hands wide open, and throw it away, throw it away. Give your life, live your life, each and every day. And keep it going. Let the sun shine. Keep your hands wide open and let the sun shine through. Created by a man called Vigil. Now, I talk a lot about projects, but I think the big thing that is relevant to is that they were such outsiders. We put an agreement with them on, 1,500 people paid to see them, and the enemy expenses. That really didn't happen. They just headline that before bankruptcy. That they were back in August 15 post-war. That's the outside story. The man behind cardiac is so special, I could go on and on. Let's have a look. Passed away after a horrible illness, and lasted a long time, but brought a lot of people, a lot of love. In 2020, on the 23rd of July. And he wrote one of the songs, all the way to I think we're all going to think about this centuries of time. I'm going to try and sing a song that I sang and we heard the strange sound. And I heard it. So, going to Texas. Song called Fairy Tale. So, we think of standard, holding the right to plan, and boys shake in your hand. If I were a bad dog, 6 feet long, boys from the land, shoot off the truth of Mary Land. While come boy, come from the house. I cannot speak no thing. Come on, I am land. Don't want to live forever. As I I'll mention it again. Thank you, Jeb. Eddie, and then friends on the other side. So really, when you get flying, a lot of your friends, some of your best friends are on the other side. And including some of the people connected to this side. I think it came out that I walked around 9 months. So I had to with the flat day in Claudia, one of the great energies that actually Claudia, I think I obviously he gave me the look of that for the first two. And yeah, Mitch Davis, Jacqueline mentioned today, these are people from the war who were playing and directed. And a lot of us met during a party the war held under London Bridge in what became known as the throne, Marillion Throne Stone. And it was just these 7 caverns under London Bridge where magic happened. It's where I met my friend Sophie at the back, Jacqueline and the walkthrough, so many incredible people. And a lot of them are alive, and some of them are dead. And after Ken Campbell, John Joyce died. He played the Bishop of Winchester in the first production of Shakespeare's Show, the first production of the Comic Mystery. John Joyce was the vicar of Winchester, and I could picture it all night in terms of the magic Crossbones. I'm just going to give you one. It's decided to scatter John's ashes here on Crossbones, beside them with the Winchester. And I was in the act, long before the garden was officially open, or we had any beyond there. I was in the middle of scattering the ashes with Timmy, the big, very big, and very dominant Nigerian security guard. I saw him here, a great person, to be quite severe. And it was just one of those moments. I carried on scattering, and I got Timmy, I noticed. Clear. My friend John Joyce, I really like I have a wish. And then the other things one job is to like me off. Very soon gave me a key. And the friend of Crossbones made it into the garden. This is the power of Crossbones, the power of the group. It comes from below. It loves the weak and the broken. Not in a way as to pity them, but to actually see that in interesting lives, messy lives, wonderful things happen as well as significant. That's what we come here to really celebrate. Imperfection. And so with that in mind, I'm now going to call the second part of the conference. And all this came through that one night, 23rd November 1996. And it changed my life. It touched many lives. That's all the lives that are here in this day. And for that, I should thank you. So here's the second part. That's a reminder that the Gooses prophecy at the end of this part refers, some would say, specifically to this moment, this day, 23rd of July, in the year of our Lord, 2023. By the grace of Our Lady Mary Overy, let them see. Them that sell their time to earn a daily crop to feed a family. Them that trade the future in stocks and bonds or speculating property. Them that crunch the numbers on the number crunching North Bank in the old city. Them back across London Bridge, take their trains to Gravesend and estuary in the hungry eyes of debtors, doing time with Dickens' father in Marshalsea. The denizens of Bedlam, now entrusted to the care of our community, the homeless in the subways, and the dead-end kids from Old Kent Road to Bermondsey, in the skull-faced queers and junkies, and the tar who tested positive for HIV, the shining eyes of our goddess of mercy, and the haggard face of John Crow, who watches from his high tower infinity, and in the single mother who lives across the road at number 23, the checkout girl in Superdrug, whose name tag says her name is Charity, and in every human face that is pocked and starred by what we call reality, by the grace of Our Lady, Mary Overy, let them see the shining eyes of our goddess of mercy. 3, 4, let war be waged without. Break down the door and out the prison wall. Let it all fall down to be born again at liberty. And let within the dream of sin, he that is without sin we cast the stone. For we all have our stake in the sum human misery, our messes and scraps and claptraps and niggling, naggling, fibbity, gibbety, novelty, novelty, artsy, fartsy, oh nasty minister, what's your private party? Party political, put Piggy in the middle, pump and jump and stump on him, pump him full of estrogen, put a time bomb under him, roast pork and bacon fat. How'd you like to chew on that? A downward ministry of sound, and how we do with private dances here, what comes from underground isn't subject to the rule of fear. It must have given you a start to find me so lysergic here. When it comes to stealing hearts and feeling rifts between our hemispheres, there's no trick I wouldn't pull to entice you. So, I tricked mad John Crow when he was in his ecstasy, and blend Luther's voice to make known my prophecy that in the month July, and the day shall be 23, in the year of Our Lady Mary Overy, Southwark shall arise naked in her liberty on the south bank of the Thames, arrayed in all her finery, with all her children, endowed with grace and dignity, the deformed and the deviant embraced into her unity, with Lambeth below her, Blake's garden in eternity. She shall open her loins to make whole the concavity, shall shuffle 2 right clicks, then shuffle left another 3. She'll strip the deck for one last sacred profanity, and the hypocrite shall blanch. Does she sanction such depravity? The great whore of Revelation, is not that surely she? You're not here. You're over here. Don't go busting an artery or poisoning the rivers with your self-loathing farcery. The body we all know here is privy to mortality. This flesh shall rot and wither, which is so fond of reminding. When your time's up, when you're done despoiling me, when you've had your fun, son, you've no further use for me, so pipe down, shut your mouth. Show some respect. Then it's hearken to that silence. What is brimming, immense, unspeakable, shall speak, and in one word, unfold her mystery, pronounce the end of time and beginning of eternity, and all her children gathered there, in all their multiplicity, with one voice, shall speak her name, and her name is Liberty! And as I leave the stage, I'd like to just say a couple more names. Steve Ash, the great Steve Ash, the prankster, anarchist, philosopher, Steve Ash. Jennifer Gary, who's remembered here at the gate. So many of our own loved ones we've lost, even the wicked, like Mr. Eon Alexis Will, some considered the wickedest man in the world. But Jen and Katie decided he was pilot, a naughty boy. And it was his last chance to lose. Everybody else, it was a bit like Alistair Crowley. He rather enjoyed it. He rather enjoyed thinking he was the most evil man in the world. These are the people of Crossbones, the dead and the living, and the unborn, because this is human consciousness. To me, this is what the Jews gave me. She's not a ghost. People say, oh, that girl they dug up, the poor girl was a star was only 18. That's not what she's doing. She's not the goose. The goose is her protector. It's the goose who comes to champion her and make her strong again and to heal her. That's how as an agency. The agency through which comes the goddess Isis and Kuan Yin, goddess of mercy, these aspects of divine feminine, and perhaps most particular, and especially on this, her day, or the day after her day, on which I was fortunate enough to be born, the 22nd of July, Our Lady, St. Mary Magdalene. Blessing.
People come very close. We all come to say goodbye. Hold on to the gate. Traditionally, we say either be touching the gate or touch somebody else touching the gate. If you can't touch the gate, touch the shoulders. We will be surrounded in what we explain as the kin, love is ruined. It is now our problem. And when we all do come in, I'm going to round up, next up the living and dead. We're going to do another.
I feel joy to do them one more time. So this is a simple call and response. The first part is slightly longer, the second part very short. The first part is the inspiring a Brazilian movement. So a few years, the little one, or being translated online for the shorty. Shorty I like to think around. She's very perfect. And when I met her, she was in some trail. They had to carry her into the ceremony. But as soon as the ceremony began, filled with life, and although I only spent a few hours with her, at the most of the day, she became one of my most important teachers. And I asked her for permission to use this particular blessing which she received. It's called the message of the Crossbones, and in Brazil, the Crossbones are one of the groups of spirits, because when the Brazilians work of spirits, they've already evolved into a much more complex tradition, drawing on European and European and research, and so they have many things in the way. They are such a barrier. In life, it's possible And I think it was very powerful message in the other day. And then like a caboclo related to it, the indigenous spirit, the original spirit of the Amazon. And also, it's within a tradition, they developed a tradition of the Pombagira. The Pombagira is actually a prostitute, a sex worker spirit, one of the people of the street. And when I told some of the Brazilians about the Greek, they all laughed at Pombagira. So we honor her too. Anyway, so this is this blessing is from the message of the folklore, and we'll follow that with the Buddhist message, which is unconditional blessing for all beings. And this comes to a short of the Buddhist message. Life.
Life. Health. Open pathways. Health in the body. Peace in the spirit. Love in the heart.
We wish.
Health in the body. Peace in the spirit. Love in the heart. That for our siblings, for the goose and the crow, and for all humanity. It is this that we wish for ourselves, for our siblings, for the goose and the crow, and for all humanity. May it be so.
Goose, may you never be hungry.
Goose, may you never be hungry. Goose, may you never be thirsty.
Fly free.
Goose, may your spirit fly free.
So she does, my brothers, my sisters.
And so she does. Yay.
To all for being here, for being positive, we're only human. Thank goodness. But not only you. There is also, this is old John. Old John. John's old. It's not a pirate sheet hat anymore. It's our collecting box that tells us. If anybody would like to support us in the expenses that we do, please feel free to click it on the file. Thank you very much. And you can notice, if you will, fans of the appropriate of and of authority, reading it. There won't be other probably next week. Congress in Germany. On the 23rd of September, I will be here, hopefully, and then after there's a party, Saturday night, I believe, at Limehouse Town Hall, it's next to a church that more kind of lay on, the community centre for the whole space like that, and space like that. Search for the person online or the cheap tickets, the free tickets, the donations, and it's very department. Thanks very much. Somebody said something, I think, what? Every single month we also bring out a newsletter. It's called Under the Vigil, aren't they? like to receive it. And your address after the event. Anybody else want to give a notice? Oh,
Yeah,
how are
I think
you?
it's better. Yes, that's right. I think we're going to try and post stuff on. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Among other things, found the silver yes, she said a lot, and she always worked with and for many of our birthdays. And in fact, at the very first ever birthday people of the 2004, rather over the top. Over the top, as in sight, the first one, the Crossbones, to my knowledge, to actually enter Crossbones in a public way. And we will all be there after.
Viva Raga.
Yeah.
And it's feeling like it.
I'm not going to get to the very good. I'm making a very, and those are also. That is rather good. And my point is, if anybody does want to go to I do have one copy on, and I've got one copy of the frame I use it to my teaching. I'm not going to hard sell to anyone. Only I know you can approach the street to find out more. Thank you again. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you. I think it's
Well, there we go. I'm sorry about the not very good sound, everyone. I couldn't hear it very well, and I know other people couldn't. So sorry about that, Facebook. And sorry to everyone who watches the recording. I'm not sure what the issue was, but hopefully just being there for the atmosphere was worth staying. I feel like it's worth staying as long as we can hear some of it. Because
the sound has been a lot better than that.
oh yeah, it's normally much better than that, isn't it? I don't know what the issue was tonight.
I suggested to Dave that they got a microphone to plug into the phone, and
Yes.
I thought they did that.
Well, maybe they did, and it's made. I don't know. It's weird. Normally it's a lot better than that, isn't it?
It's gone all together, hasn't it?
Yeah. So we're not getting very much sound at all on the recording. So I'm going to stop this Facebook live stream. But thank you everyone who stuck with us, because I know there were people watching the whole time, and that's really lovely. So thank you for being there. I'm just going to stop the live stream. Bye-bye, Facebook. Bye-bye. I'll stop the live stream now. There we go. And I'm going to stop the recording. Bye, recording.